Well, hello! Welcome to the show. It is Sunday, August. Is it August? Yes, August 18th, 2018. 2018, 2019. Oh, gosh. Man. Yeah, I tell you, Zach, it's been a struggle this week.
And how's that?
Jeez, why are you. Is it just me? Do I have you turned up really loud or are you yelling?
I'm not really doing anything. I'm just
I might have had you turned up really loud. But anyway. So, yeah, this whole week has just been kind of a crazy week. So, uh, oh, mm, uh, are we good? Are we good? Oh, yeah, okay, cool. I was like, I'm pretty sure I muted the mics. We're good. So, anyway, let's start off with Wednesday this week. So, Wednesday this week, I had a meeting, a couple hours away. So obviously I'm in the tech world. I do website design, so I got asked about an opportunity. So the archdiocese of our that our church is a part of has teamed up with a company that does website design and things like that. So there was a big informational kind of meeting about that on Wednesday that I went and participated in. And then let's see. Friday, I had a really long day. I did the day shift, and then after that, we had a meetup with our little group of people that went on our trip a couple weeks ago. So we showed the 20-minute recap video that I put together. Had a nice kind of dinner and hangout portion, and then we all went swimming. So that was pretty fun. Went way longer than I thought it was going to. And
That's
then
always how it is, though.
yesterday, it was a ton of fun though. I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. It was fun. Of course, Zach, is not a social person, so he wouldn't have had fun. But
Look,
anyway.
I just have a limit, okay? It reaches a certain amount of time, and I'm just like, I need to decompress now. You
Well,
know?
you're more of an introvert than I am, so I enjoy like large crowds and things like that. You not so much, but anyway.
Well,
So
it depletes my social quota rather quickly. So yeah,
you have a social quota.
yeah, that's right.
It's like a tank. It starts at full and then it just goes shunk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness. Um mm, hold on. Oh, hello. Oh. Oh. Hold on.
What are we holding on for?
Yeah, okay. Yep, I think I will. Adjusting something real quick here. Oh, oh, oh. Totally didn't mean to do that.
What are you doing?
Trying to change the white. Oh, here we go. That's the button I want. Camera control. Ooh. Let's see here. Ooh, probably. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, well, let's see here. I'm trying to adjust the white balance on my camera because it just shifted really badly. Let's see here. You have no idea what white balance is, do you?
I think you explained it to me once. It's the like the saturation of the white.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there we go. We'll go for 2700K.
That's how I think about it, anyway.
That looks way better. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I'm using a warm white light above me. Actually, everything in my space here is warm white. So that's about 2700K. So setting the white balance for 2700K makes things look way better. But I was like moving my hand, and it's actually kind of chilly in here, so I'm wearing a like a light. The British would refer to it as like a jumper, but like I don't know, a light kind of jacket thing. And so when I rose my hand up to demonstrate the whole gas tank thing like going down because of your social thing, it like everything turned purple and it looked really bad. So so it's like I got to adjust this right now. So anyway, I don't know why I just never set that for 2700 Kelvin and left it, because I know what the color temperature of the lighting is in here. So anyway, but yeah. So anyway, so that was Friday, and then yesterday, Saturday, worked in the morning, and then I had a wedding last night to do. So this week has just kind of been a crazy week. Things got all shifted around. Normally I have Thursdays off. I have Wednesday off this week. And then 2 days in a row where it was like from 7 to like 1 in the morning. So yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I think today's kind of the hopefully reset day, and then we'll get back into a normal rhythm next week. And then the week after that, I'm back out at NIAC, so that'll be fun. But I'm only on campus 2 days this semester though, so that'll be kind of nice. Nice change up. So, what's new with you?
Nothing. I don't know.
How's the job?
It's better.
It's better.
I'm not a salesperson anymore. I mean, there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people at my company that are, corporate Kool-Aid drinkers. I just don't have to work with them.
Something about a certain person in a certain department. We won't go too far into that because I don't want to get you in trouble. So let's just say it's not the department you work in, though.
I actually have no idea what you're talking about.
Hang on.
Was it like I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
That?
Oh! Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about him, but I don't. I honestly haven't really observed. I haven't really had any problems with him.
You haven't had any interactions with this particular
whatever.
individual?
No. I actually deal with them all the time because they're like across the. Well, okay, so, I work at a printing company in the IT department, and so our office is kind of on this little like raised platform above the plant.
Yeah, you kind of have like this look. Do you have this lookout kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah. Except the window is covered by a shelf because we're antisocial.
Well, weren't people like looking into the windows and like bothering you guys all the time?
No, there was a window on the door as well. And since there's a window on the door, people would look in, and be like, what are they doing in there? And so apparently before I started working there, they just decided to put a giant like opaque piece of like paper or something over the window. Which I find funny, and I would do the same thing. But the window out to the plant, no one can really see in there. It's just covered by a shelf because that's where the shelf is.
Oh, a shelf.
Through
Okay.
it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. The HR office is like right across. There's a couple of other offices, like some manager and some other manager. I don't know. And then, so we frequent those places to help them out with stuff.
Right. Well, those are
HR has a cursed printer.
Real? I love that. I love that HR has a cursed printer, because what is your least favorite thing in the tech world?
Printers. Well, I mean, I do work at a printing company.
You know what? This is ironic. You work
and
at
so
a
I've seen some of the biggest printers you've ever imagined. But I don't have to touch them. I don't have to deal with them. They're not my problem.
They just
anyway,
the
HR printer. The HR printer has a little tendency to, well, it was initially placed on a shelf, or more to be more accurate, 2 shelves. It was placed in the middle of the shelves, and there was a difference in height of the shelves of like a couple of like a centimeter maybe. So the printer was tilted just a little tiny bit.
Where?
Of course, it refused to print at that point. Jammed every time, through errors.
That's all it was?
Nope. Yep. So we decided. I don't know what led us to level it out, but we pushed it towards. We pushed it towards the edge, so we could make room for something else.
So
and it
was
started to
this
work.
what it
I
was
was like,
sitting on?
what?
Either of them were not big enough to hold the entire thing by itself.
No, it was big enough. It just happened to be placed in the center.
But why?
I don't know. Why not?
Okay, fine, whatever.
But yeah, that tiny little angle was enough to just throw it off completely.
Oh my gosh. I'll give you I refuse to use any of the computers in the library on the Nyack campus ever again.
Oh, I remember those. They're crap.
Yeah, well, they updated them now. They're using like VMware. Oh my gosh. I kid you not. So I went in, right, last week to go. I had to take care of some business out there. And I needed to pick up an access code for one of my online classes. So I didn't know what I needed, so I walked into the library, sat down at the system, put my username and password in, which it refused to take the first 2 times. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Anyway, so finally went in, right? This whole debacle of logging into our online portal, grabbing the information I needed, throwing it into a Word document real quick, and then printing it out. How long should this have taken me?
A couple minutes, maybe.
How long do you think it actually took me?
Several times that amount.
So that puts you at what?
I don't know. 10, 15, 20.
20 minutes. Something that should have taken me 5 minutes took me 20 minutes. I kid you not. It took me like 5 minutes just to get logged into the computer. Just boink, 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 boink. Like the little loading bar going across. And then the printer took its like sweet time. It took like 10 minutes for that thing to warm up. So, yeah. your giant printers that you have at this company, they have a little tiny Ethernet cable going to them.
They're all network connected. But they're not our problem. We don't know anything about them.
They've got that old style printer cable with a USB end on the other end.
Oh, no way, no.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Can you imagine though? It's like your home printer, just bigger.
We don't really have to go to the plant ever.
So,
actually there are some crappy computers floating around the plant floor that sometimes have problems.
I thought you were using all Nooks. I thought that's what you guys were using.
They are all Nooks.
Yeah. So is your little IT department up there is the door locked by default?
Yes. You need a key card to get in?
Okay, I was gonna say nobody can just walk in randomly on you. It's I see. Yeah. That's what I think that's the way to do it. You just have your own little area, nobody else can get in. It's kind of a nice
That's a real point of that was a real big thing for our manager, actually.
Well, probably liability and things like that, but
well, yeah, because there's equipment in there that is not to be touched.
Yep. So, is your little IT department then little office space? Do you actually have all your servers in there, or are those located somewhere else in the building?
No. In fact, most of the we have a big problem if this stops working equipment is at a data center, which is about 20 minutes away.
Is that something you guys actually manage, or is that farmed out?
What do you mean? I mean, we have equipment that we own at that location.
Got it. That's what I was wondering. So some companies, like my employer, elects to we use Microsoft's cloud, which sure. I don't know how much of it is actually our software developers breaking stuff and how much of it is actually on the data centers portion of things not working. And it's also my understanding right now, however, that half of our system is sitting in Microsoft's cloud and half of it is sitting at a data center in Wisconsin somewhere right now. So they claim that that's part of the issue why things stop working. I don't know. We'll see what happens when the full migration to the Azure platform actually happens. But in our specific case, we don't actually like own any of that hardware. We just we farm it out to Microsoft. They host it. We pay them. They maintain the equipment. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So I wasn't sure if that's how you guys did it. You can pay companies like Rackspace or something like that or AWS for specific space in their cloud. They manage all that stuff. And then
we're essentially paying for racks to put our equipment on.
Well, and your bandwidth and all that fun stuff. Well, that's true.
No, actually, no. The ISP is separate.
Right. Do I dare ask who your ISP is?
Well, it used to be CenturyLink, but now we have Comcast. And we're actually in the middle of dealing with that right now.
Oh joy!
I'll save the choice words and just say that our network guy absolutely despises CenturyLink.
I think most of us despise CenturyLink. Hashtag local co-op over here.
It's different when you're talking about business.
No. My local co-op offers business solutions. They do. In the form of fiber optics. So I really do wish,
I believe that's what we're getting.
I really do wish that was a more feasible option.
Like that should be universal though.
Yeah, local co-ops that offer. Screw the giant communication companies, which we'll get into in a minute. I've got a story about a giant communication company here, our telecommunication company here, and it's just like, really? So anyway, with that, I think that's a perfect transition into topics for this week. But yeah. So Zach, you've gone to the store, you bought yourself a smart oven. It starts turning itself on at night and preheating to 400 degrees.
That's a fire hazard.
At least 3 smart June ovens have turned on in the middle of the night and heated up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Because that's what everybody wants.
Well, sometimes you just need some like midnight pizza or something.
Right, there you go. It was warming up for your midnight snack.
Of course, see? And these people are talking bad about the company that makes this product when the company's just looking out for them.
They're like Apple. We know what you want.
We know you want a midnight pizza. You don't even know it yet, but we
do. We're just being prepared.
We know.
So the oven's owners aren't sure why this happened, and June tells The Verge that user error is user error is at fault. Because who does this sound like? What company does this sound like right now? Actually, I can think of a couple.
I don't really have one in mind, to be honest.
I was going to go with Apple or Microsoft.
Those are actually the two that I was kind of thinking of, but
it's like,
sure.
It can't be our fault. It can't be our fault. It must be the user's fault. Sometimes that's actually true, though.
I feel that's more Apple.
Yeah. I could see it. So the company is planning an update that'll hopefully remedy the solution and prevent it from happening again. But the change isn't coming until next month. So here's what I love, right? So here's what they say is it must be user error. But because it's user error, and I can kind of see it both ways, but still, it's user error. Rather than providing a solution as to, well, did they check this? Did they check that? No, they're just doing this whole, we're going to send out an update thing.
Probably because there was an actual issue, maybe, huh?
That's what, to me, it sounds like. Where it's like,
So, it's not our fault. There's nothing wrong with the product, but we're going to send out an update anyway.
Definitely not with a fix for the problem.
that's kind of what it screams to me. Now, some could argue, let's play devil's advocate here real quick, though. Some could argue that they're doing it to create more measures in place that make it harder for you to accidentally turn it on or something like that. I could see that, but
Maybe.
I still like my first theory. So
Can I just ask who needs a smart oven?
why not?
Well, what does it do? What's smart about it?
You can tell Alexa to turn it on.
That's it?
Probably.
If I want to turn it on, I'll just go and turn it on.
No, see, okay, think of
You think Amazon's like monitoring what you're cooking in there?
no. I think this is purely one of those just to be useful things. Think about it though, okay? The busy mom on her way home from work grabs a pizza, preheats the oven on her way home. So she gets home, oven's preheated, pop it in, you're good to go. It's a convenience thing. That's what I like about it. It's the same thing with Amazon's microwave kind of thing, although that one's kind of stupid. I mean, generally, if you're microwaving something, like, it doesn't take that long. By the time I get up and go hit the buttons, or by the time I open the app and, like, get it all set up and things like that, like, I still gotta walk to the stupid thing. So, anyway. So this says one owner's oven turned on at around 2:30 a.m. and broiled at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for hours while they slept. They only noticed when they woke up 4 hours later. Nest Cam footage captured the exact moment it turned on. The oven illuminates his dark, empty kitchen in a truly Black Mirror-like recording. The owner says his wife baked a pie around 11:30 p.m. the night of the preheating incident, but she turned the oven off once she took the pie out. That makes perfect sense. Oh, hey, I'm done cooking something. Click, turn it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the June oven debuted in 2015. What? I'll tell you the price is over $1,000.
Hello? $1,000?
Over $1,000. Any guesses?
1,500?
Yeah, pretty darn close. 1,495. Yep. That's what you pay for the privilege of having a countertop oven that uses a camera and a computer vision to, it identifies the food that's inside and then...
And tells Amazon what you're cooking.
Maybe it does. Well, no, because I don't think Amazon owns this particular product. I think the theory is that you're just supposed to be able to put the food in and hit go, and it'll figure out what it is, how long it needs to cook it, all that fun stuff. But yeah, you're probably right. It is probably collecting data on you. The company raised nearly $30 million in funding and released its second generation version in 2018 for, $600. That's a little more swallowable. Swallowable.
Swallowable? Stomachable, maybe?
Stomachable. It's billed as 7 appliances in one: an air fryer, dehydrator, slow cooker, broiler, toaster, warming dryer, and convection countertop oven. It also pairs with an app that allows people to choose their temperature and cooking settings, as well as live stream their food as it cooks thanks to the built-in. What? Are we going to start seeing Twitch channels pop up? Now cooking in such and such kitchen.
Could be.
Oh, man. So anyway, since its launch, competitors have sprung up, including Tavala and Brava, all with the promise to make. Here's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to eliminate the skill of having to cook and making it easier, because apparently, we just can't be bothered anymore. So. People can monitor their food through an app, ensure it's prepared perfectly, and in some cases subscribe to a food delivery plan that complements the oven. However, with that connected promise comes a risk. The oven is always available through the tap of an app, which can be both good and bad. Yeah, sure. Someone can turn their oven off from work if they realize that they left it on. So, that might be kind of useful. On the flip side, though, they could also accidentally turn the thing on in the middle of the night. You know what? Here's the solution. Here's the solution if they haven't implemented it already. Is if you accidentally turn the thing on, it's got a camera in it, right?
Yes.
It should be able to tell if it's empty, right?
Seems like a good idea.
So it should be able to turn itself off after a given amount of time.
Sure, why not?
And that should... Maybe not should, but ideally, you should have the option to set how long that time is. Whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour. Or better yet, how long you want it to stay on between the time that it's been... From the time it preheats. You know what I mean? Because think about it. It's not going to have anything in it while it's preheating. So maybe it hits the 400 degrees and then it says, oh, nothing's been placed in me, and the user sets it up for, if we don't put anything in it within 20 minutes, then automatically shut off. That sounds like a logical solution. I'm not crazy, am I?
No.
Yeah. So anyway, so the two other second generation June oven owners have posted about similar remote preheating incidents in a private June owners Facebook group that has slightly over 2,000 members. Let's see. The first documented overnight preheat occurred in May. A group member wrote that they roasted potatoes around 5 p.m. one night and left them to cool in the oven. He then apparently forgot to take them out. The next morning, he woke up to find that the oven had turned on at 1:20 a.m. and baked at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 hours and 32 minutes. The potatoes, which were still in the oven, burned to a crisp. Well, no doubt.
I'm sure they did, yeah.
He says, had I not left the potatoes overnight, I may have not realized it had turned on in the night, he wrote. The New York City Fire Department says unattended cooking accounts for 32% of house fires. And that fires typically start when a stove or oven is near items that can catch fire, like paper towels or when food or grease is left in the oven. None of the June oven owners reported fires. So, that's a good thing, but there's enough of a concern there that this thing is turning on by itself. Let's see. There was a third owner in late July that had her phone wake her up at 6:30 a.m. with a push notification saying that the oven had preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and was ready to cook. Let's see. Oh, so this person had actually previously been unplugging the device every night after she heard the initial reports about the ovens turning on in the middle of the night. This is dangerous and unpredictable, and I certainly don't want this oven coming on while I'm on vacation, she wrote. I guess I can see if you're on vacation, but if you're unplugging it every night, doesn't that kind of eliminate the
possibility?
Well, not the possibility, but doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of having this smart oven?
Well, yeah, it kind of does.
Well, portions of it. But now, the CEO, Matt Von Horn, says that owners, not the oven, are at fault. This has got to be good. We've seen a few cases where customers have accidentally activated their oven preheat or activate their oven preheat via device, figure your cell phone, he tells The Verge. So imagine if I were to be in the June app, clicking recipes, and I accidentally tap something that preheated my oven. We've seen a few. Okay! Then, okay, so update, but here's the thing, right? First, I was going to make the argument, well, and maybe this still is a valid argument, how the actual flip am I going to accidentally preheat the oven while I'm sleeping?
I don't know.
Let me ask you, Zach. When was the last time you opened an app on your phone while you were asleep?
Oh, just last night, in fact.
Now, I can see an issue here, right? Where you've accidentally clicked the button to turn it on while you're reading through recipes. So maybe the solution to that is "Are you sure you want to do this?" button.
Maybe.
That just sounds like poor app design then at that point. Now, June shipped one owner a new oven in response, but said it was because of unrelated issues, Zach.
Unrelated issues, huh?
June's support team blamed Amazon's Alexa assistant for another owner's accidental preheat and says it worked with the Alexa team to figure out what happened. One owner says he could have potentially tapped something on the June app when he force closed all his apps the night before bed, and June says this is what happened. All right. It's a really wonderful feature to be able to remotely preheat your oven. I don't disagree with that. And it's a completely new world that's very exciting, and there's things that happen, Van Horn says. People have always joked about the butt dial, like, I didn't mean to call you, and so these are just the types of things in software that we just have to be mindful of and build great features around to make our customers. So, okay, if you already acknowledge that this is a problem, then why didn't you think about that when you were designing the app?
Look, common sense, real hard.
I don't disagree with you on that. I really don't. Now, at the time of the third incident, Van Horn posted in the Facebook group that the June team takes the accidental preheating seriously and that they're working to address the issue. This just sounds like good PR speak right here. Now, he says his team will issue an update in September that'll allow owners to disable remote preheats. Remotely starting preheats will still be allowed by default. However, allowing owners to disable their remote preheat is a step in the right direction, but it also might not go far enough. So maybe, I don't think it's a horrible idea, but what about this? What about the ability to set, and Windows does this, but your active hours, or within these hours, disregard what happens in the app. Maybe from midnight to 6 a.m.
I just, well, look, someone's going to complain about that. Someone's going to be like, hey, I wanted to make pizza at 3 a.m.
Okay.
Your stupid app didn't let me.
No.
What's up with that?
No. I'm saying that those are user-definable presets if you want them.
Fair enough.
That is, yeah, that's my argument on that. It, like, you know, make it an option to say between such and such time and such time, I would not like this device to and not like completely lock you out of it. Like, yeah, sure, you could have an override or something like that, but I think just a feature that, you know, yeah. Anyway, next year, June plans to update its ovens with the ability to recognize when there isn't any food inside of it. How can it not do that already? It's got a flipping camera in it. Or is the camera simply so that you can monitor what's happening inside of the oven? Because apparently that's a thing.
I don't know. This is too much. This is too much for me. I don't even.
This thing right here, like when we started this, I was like, oh, hey, this is kind of a cool idea. This thing is just starting to get stupider and stupider. I'm sorry. But the heating elements will be turned off after a certain amount of time if food isn't detected. Again, why wasn't this implemented?
We're just going in circles now.
I know.
Time to stop.
I know. But, like, seriously, my flippin' Keurig does this. It's got a timer on it. I got my Keurig set up for 2 hours. So I turn it on, right? After 2 hours, it automatically shuts off if I haven't used it. It's not that hard. Well, okay, fine. A Keurig is a little bit different than an oven, but still. Like, so, anyway, Van Horn says, the feature will work similarly to when Netflix asks viewers if they're still watching something after a program has been playing automatically for a while. Although June is blaming the owners for the remote preheats, not hardware issues, the fact that these situations occurred in the first place speaks to the broader fear of connected devices. A connected oven might seem cool at first, which it did to me, and in theory, it's probably better to get a notification about your oven being on instead of discovering it whenever you happen to walk into the kitchen. Totally agree. But it also comes with the added risk of an oven preheat being a tap away. It's 2019, and these are the issues we have to grapple with right now.
I just have trouble wrapping my head around the concept of a internet connected kitchen appliance.
I think what the difference is between me and you is,
God, I feel like an old man. Back in my day, the oven wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi.
I think people want this easeability and connected devices like this. And I'm not saying that I don't like these things, because I do. But I think at a certain point, there are certain items that... And I think this is one of those things right now where everyone is trying to hop on this bandwagon of internet-connected devices, because I think it is the future. I just think, just like the mad dash to be first to 5G, people are just popping devices up now to just have them there. And they're not necessarily maybe thinking about or considering certain things. Whether it's because they're just moving too fast, or it's because it's something that got left behind, that it's like, oh, well, we'll address it when it pops up. Which I think is fair, but I think you have to, in the case of something like this, where it might have been an oversight, although it's kind of a big oversight in my mind, I think something temporarily in your software, right? How hard is it to push a software update down? I don't think it's that hard. But something in the software, right, where you address the issue temporarily and then you work on an actual fix for it. So, I don't know. A great example of this, our point of sale system, right? So, when I have to go back and look at purchase history, it is a complete mess because I can see all the different transactions. It's really bad for commercial customers because you do a lot of business with them, right? But I can go back and look and see all the purchases that they've done, but it doesn't show me what's on those particular sales. It doesn't allow me to narrow down based on the product. I literally have to click each one. And the problem is every time I open one, it opens in the same window. And so, yes, I can hit the back button, but then I end up losing my spot and I end up opening the same one like 3 times in a row. So a great solution, a permanent solution, would be give me either a search function or at least some kind of way for me to be able to see what was on that particular sale. In the short term, why don't you just set it so that these at least open in different windows? You know?
Might be handy, yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, our support team, right? So they have the ability in the actual point of sale system for us to submit requests for enhancements. So, obviously I did, right? I'm like, hey, this would be a great feature. Please contact me with your thoughts at yada, yada, yada. I've heard nothing back. So, that's nice. You just know that team apparently... I can't imagine... I don't know what they're doing, but come on. 5 minutes to write an email back to me. Yeah, whatever. So... So, Zach, you can buy an electric scooter. You can
Yeah,
rent
I
an
had
electric.
one.
Really?
Oh, I thought you meant like one of those kids ones. I had one of those. Those were the coolest thing ever. Those Razor scooters with the motors. Woo! That was my
Yeah.
favorite.
So you can buy an electric scooter. You can rent an
Okay.
electric scooter, and of course, you can pick one up off a crowded street. What you can't do is escape the ridicule that comes with this extremely convenient mode of transportation, particularly not after they explode inside a tech company's headquarters and cause people to evacuate.
Wah, wah.
So
Well, mine never exploded on me. That's good.
The San Francisco fire department has confirmed to The Verge that Dropbox evacuated its San Francisco headquarters at their location the other day after an electric scooter caught fire on the 5th floor of the building. Yep. The SFFD says it was able to extinguish the fire and that no one got hurt. Can we back up real quick and cover the fact that what could you possibly need electric scooters in your building for? Other than just be cool.
For entertainment.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Is that a valid reason?
I guess I'll give you that. I don't know. I'm all for having fun at work and messing around, but I don't know if I'd have. These are like designed for like the street. I could maybe see like a boosted board or something like that, but I guess the issue with that is that not everyone can ride a skateboard very easily. At least on a scooter, you've got like handlebars to hang on to, so I guess they're a little bit easier to ride. But
skateboards are hard. I can't ride a skateboard. Never could.
You can. Well,
I remember trying a skateboard very young, realizing it was very hard, and never trying it again.
Yeah, but you don't scream to me the type that would ride a skateboard anyways.
No.
Yeah.
No. But, I mean, I don't know. I tried it anyway.
So, based on a photo from Dropbox associate creative director, the scooter looks like a match for a looks like a match for a fairly cheap $250 ish model known as the Tianrun R3. I don't know.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, well, that's the name of it, but it's sold by Rocket X. Though it's not clear which company its owner purchased it from, cheap hoverboards have been known to occasionally explode in the past. There's a word in there that kind of screams to me like it's kind of like a giant red flag. What word do you suppose that would be?
Tell us more. I'm curious.
What did you say?
Tell us more. I'm curious.
Tell us more. The word cheap in there.
Really? You think that cheap products might have a increased risk of sudden accidental disassembly by self-incineration?
I was going to say self-combustion, but
self-immolation?
Anyway, so typically because of issues with charging, their large combustible lithium-ion batteries. We shouldn't jump to conclusions though, but I mean, I think this is what the issue is. They're cheap for a reason. So if you're here's the thing about batteries. Batteries are a commodity where you do get what you pay for. Now, you can walk into the grocery store and go pick up the generic brand of whatever, and it's going to be fine. I do it all the time. But when it comes to batteries, again, batteries are a commodity. You get what you pay for. So if you're buying a cheap battery, there's a reason it's cheap. You get what you pay for. Not true in every case, but in the case of batteries, yes, for sure. So anyway, So in this case, it sounds like the excitement didn't really take a big chunk out of the company's day. Here's the statement from Dropbox. We experienced a small fire at our headquarters yesterday in San Francisco. It was quickly put out. No injuries have been reported, and everyone was able to evacuate safely. We're thankful to the SFFD for their swift response. Just another Wednesday in Silicon Valley, Zach.
It's another Wednesday.
Yep. So anyway, but yeah, so that's what happened at Dropbox's headquarters. I like this idea, like, you know, like Google does it. Google has like I think Google would be kind of an interesting company to work for in terms of like just the spaces that you have available to you and things like that.
Look, Google is evil, but I do hear that working for them is nice.
Google, I like that. Google is evil.
Well, everyone knows that Google is evil. Google knows how to be evil correctly, though.
That's like I love that statement though. That's like something that my my manager said. I don't.
Google plays the long game.
Oh no! So this is what my manager said. He's like, well, I don't trust this guy, but he's always paid me. So yeah. So that's what I thought about when you're like, Google is evil, but I hear working for them is nice.
Yes, exactly.
So
Like they're evil, but you know, you the employee will probably have a good experience working for them.
I will say that, like,
I don't know anything else about working for Google. I just hear that it's okay.
Yeah, I will say this. So like,
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's horrible to work at Google.
you know, if TechBee Media had a world or like a headquarters, right? Like, I'm all for us having, like, you know, nice
I
area.
better be riding a scooter around the place.
I don't know if you'd be riding a scooter around. I don't think the headquarters would be that large. But
Oh, come on. Not with that attitude.
you're darn right that we're gonna have awesome systems, and a chill area is the biggest thing. I want just a nice area where all the staff can hang out and chill, and you know, very laid back for meetings, things like I feel like we do like a weekly meeting, like what projects you got going on this week, things like that, cool, but like in a very relaxed, laid back setting. So I don't know. I think it's important for your employees to have those kind of things, because I think studies have shown that it actually causes your employees to be more productive. But anyway, so moving on to one of our favorite parts of the show. You know it. It is Microsoft news time.
Oh, yes. Favorite.
Yep. And we actually have a story this week that we can make fun of Microsoft for.
Oh, don't we always, though?
Well, so what did I gripe about last week?
I don't know. Forgot.
Or no, this is a couple weeks ago. What did I gripe about though?
I don't know. I forgot.
Windows updates.
Ah, of course. But we always complain about those.
Yeah, well, Microsoft is working to fix CPU throttling on the company's latest Surface devices, while owners complain of Wi-Fi issues too. Because Microsoft's latest Surface update is causing CPU and Wi-Fi issues.
Oh, really?
You know what?
I bet that happened because they probably tried to update something that didn't need to be updated.
You know what I love too about this? It's almost like a double hit. First, Microsoft lately just has not been able to send an update out that apparently works. But to put the little cherry on top, it's their own flipping device.
I mean, it has to be a little bit embarrassing about that. That it's their own device.
Like,
oh, man.
I can understand if you're like trying to work with other manufacturers, because little weird things here and there. But when you're actually developing the software for the device that you're building and you still F it up, how? Like,
I don't know.
I kid
yes,
you not,
Microsoft.
and I keep asking the question. I'm being completely 100% serious. Is Microsoft even trying anymore? Because it seems like they're not. I don't get it. Seriously, the last 3 or 4 update cycles, every time, something has been broken. And I don't get it. You have beta testers. What are they doing? Windows never used to have this many issues in it. Until the company decided, let's have it as a service, and let's push it out to everybody whenever we want. We're just gonna send updates out whenever we want. I never remember this many issues with Windows 7. Do you?
Honestly, it's been so long that I couldn't even tell you.
But
I know the answer you're looking for.
Well, the answer I'm looking for is honestly the honest answer, but I don't think I ever remember this many issues with an operating system. Windows Vista, I guess, but I think honestly the problem with Windows Vista wasn't necessarily that Windows Vista was a bad operating system. I just don't think I think it was honestly with driver support. I think later on, and I think there were some software things I think in Vista that weren't quite worked out very well. Remember all the stupid widgets that would pop up on the side?
In Vista?
Yeah.
I never had a Vista computer.
You never had a Vista computer?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so one of the big features about Windows
I
Vista...
used it a little, but I don't.
One of the big features of Windows Vista was the different like desktop icons that you could have on the side. Now they load up by default, and they had things like think of like the widgets that you can put anywhere on an Android device. They were like that,
okay.
but for Windows. And so, yeah, sure, the theory is great, but of course, where does all that stuff load?
RAM.
Exactly. And it does it right as the system's starting up, too. So...
I see. I see the problem.
Yeah. So, anyway. But, so Microsoft is working to fix those issues right now. They say, we are aware of some customers reporting a scenario with their Surface Books where CPU speeds are slowed, a Microsoft spokesperson said in a statement to Tech Republic. We are quickly working to address via a firmware update. The CPU throttling appears to be affected both on the Surface Book 2 and Surface Pro 6. According to a variety of complaints on Reddit, processors are getting throttled all the way down to a measly 400 megahertz.
Oh my.
It's not immediately clear what is causing the problems. Tech Republic... Well, what's causing the problems is Microsoft just sucks. I don't know. It's just fun to kind of bash on Microsoft, though. Tech Republic reports that the throttling appears to be related to an Intel CPU flag being locked on by mistake, causing the CPU to throttle as it thinks it's at a thermal limit. Which, okay, the theory behind that makes sense. Throttling down to, help with the temperatures, things like that. Anyway, well, that would be thermal throttling then at that point, wouldn't it? Oh, did I lose Zach?
No, I lost you.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying that would what did you hear?
Something about thermal throttling.
Yeah. So the what do they say? They think that the throttling appears to be related to an Intel CPU flag being locked on by mistake. So basically thermal throttling then.
Well, yes.
Well, it's creating a false positive for it, therefore thermal throttling the device.
So it's thermal throttling, but it's not actually hot.
Yeah, because there's an incorrect flag somewhere.
Yes, of course.
So, alongside the CPU issues, Microsoft's latest firmware update has been causing Wi-Fi issues for some. Surface Book and Surface Pro 6 owners have complained on Microsoft support forums that the latest Marvel Wi-Fi driver supplied with Microsoft Surface firmware updates on August 1st is not allowing devices to connect to some 5G wireless networks. Now, The Verge experienced the issues on a Surface Pro 6 device. They say that the problems could be related to certain router combinations. Now, the solution for that is to just roll back the driver to an earlier one that actually fixes the problem. The thing is, though, I shouldn't have to. It should just work. And you would agree with me.
Well, yes.
So a Microsoft volunteer moderator claims that the company is working on an update. The Verge has reached out for comment on the Wi-Fi problems. I don't think I've heard anything back. The latest problems come just weeks after Microsoft halted the rollout of its Windows 10 May 2019 update to its Surface Book 2 devices because owners reported issues with the disappearing NVIDIA GPU.
Oh, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Like, that's been a problem for so long.
I think it has been.
I don't know why.
And again, it's really got to be sad and embarrassing that it is happening on a device that you make, your company makes.
Microsoft made that.
Like, you.
I mean, that's actually not entirely fair. They mostly just kind of take off the shelf components and put them together.
No. No, they do not get a pass.
I'm doing what you do, okay? I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
No. They do not get a pass, and here's why.
They don't get a pass. I'm just saying that it's not entirely theirs.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because here's why. Microsoft is directly creating the software and the devices themselves. Even if they're not building them, they have access to the devices and the software before it's released. So there should be no excuse why they can't do enough testing.
They probably just didn't want to spend enough money.
Well, there you go. But that's why I'm saying they do not have a pass. When you have direct access to the software before anyone else and the devices, even if you're not making them, Microsoft can obtain those devices.
Why can't they just release the devices when they're ready?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is you have more than enough resources. You're creating the software. It's not like with like a Dell or an HP or something like that. Like, yeah, sure, Microsoft is building the software, right? But they probably don't have those pre-production model devices to be able to do initial testing with. That's different with a Surface, though. Microsoft is contracting, somebody else to make that device, but they have access to the device. And again, they have access to the software.
They play a significant role in the designing of the device.
Well, that too. But that's the thing.
I'm sure some of the components are Microsoft's own engineering.
Right.
But like the chipset and the that GPU in question.
Even for the things that aren't.
Stuff, that's not theirs.
Right.
Although I believe that GPU is custom made for them.
Right. But even still, even if it's not something that they're custom making themselves, again, they have access to the device before anybody else. There should be no reason why they can't do enough testing ahead of time to make sure that everything's going to work the way it's supposed to. Like, again, it's not a scenario.
They should, yeah.
It's not a scenario where they don't have access to the device. I can understand it on other manufacturers, something like HP, something like Dell, something like Lenovo, where those companies might not be willing to supply early samples to the company for testing purposes. But that's why I'm saying Microsoft is not going to pass on this one, because there's absolutely no reason why. Like, okay, as much as we hate Apple, like, Apple makes the software and the device, right? Yeah, they ship it out to China, but still, they're going to do their testing before they actually release that device. So that's why I'm saying that I don't think they get a pass on this one. Yeah, again, I can understand it with other, I can understand a custom built system too, where there's many different pieces of hardware working together. But when you're specifically making a device and you have full access to it.
Oh yeah, Microsoft designing the device, they don't really have any excuses.
Right, exactly. So if you have early access to the device, right, and you notice that there's an issue and you're the one building the software, then you should be able to go back in and be like, oh, okay, this is not acting the way we would expect it to. Let's figure out how to fix that. And then running through all your testing, and yeah, I think you're going to run into weird cases from here and there, but they shouldn't be having this many issues. At least I don't think they should. So, anyway, that's all I've got to say on that.
Reminds me of a device that I ran into once upon a time that I think, gosh, I forget what the problem was. Oh, no, I remember. I'm pretty sure like the screen image would like jiggle sometimes. It was a Surface. It was a Surface Pro 4, I think. I don't know. And oh man, we wasted so much time. This was at my old job. We wasted so much time trying to fix it before someone finally uncovered that it was a hardware problem and it needed to be sent in. I don't know how that was a hardware problem, but it's some kind of a horrible problem.
Yeah, I don't get it.
The issue survived several OS installs and everything, so yeah, it's something low level for sure.
I want to see Microsoft at least be able to release a competent update.
Well, I mean, we like to laugh at Apple, but
Right, exactly. But like,
their mobile OS and hardware, they make sure it works pretty darn well before they push it.
Exactly. And that's what I said. I like as much as we like to bash on Apple, they do have, in terms of that portion of their business, they have a good structure on that. I will give them that. And here's my thing. And I think both me and you can agree that as much as we dislike Apple, we have to give Apple credit where it's needed.
I think that Apple also is much better about data privacy than other companies.
Yes, however...
And I think that part of that is because that's not where they're making their money. Well, I mean, obviously they're making some kind of money off of
I think what they're doing, though...
data. But yeah, anyway, go ahead, sorry.
I think Apple instills this... And I think it's smart on Apple's part on data protection, because that is becoming a growing concern in today's digital era. And so I think it creates the sense of safety for the consumer. Now, whether I'm actually right on that or not, I don't know. But I think that might be why Apple... I think it's a trust thing. I think... Look at companies. Look at Microsoft, right? With telemetry data in it now. For years, Microsoft was about the customer. Let's secure your data. Things, well, maybe not let's secure your data, but, they didn't blatantly go out and try to steal your data and things like that, right? Or collect it. And I think that that's something where Apple now is in a very rare area. There's not a lot of companies like that out there anymore. And again, I think people value their privacy, especially in today's digital era. And I think that that's why I think Apple sees that as an asset. So.
Potentially, yeah.
Anyway. But moving on, we will talk about Apple and some of their tactics in a moment. But let's talk about Verizon and their tactics. So, Verizon tried to charge a rural library $880 for accidentally using some data in Canada while they were roaming. Now,
I read that. I just laughed. Because I know exactly what they would do.
So how much data was actually used, Zach?
It's like 5 megabytes or something like that.
It was 440 megabytes. Megabytes.
Yeah. It's like less than a gigabyte.
Megabytes.
Yeah.
$880.
$800.
That's almost $900 if we round. So, and we know that telecommunication companies aren't your friend. No matter how cheerful they try to make their commercials or anything like that, they're not. And so your latest reminder is the story right here, where the Tully Free Library in rural Tully, New York, got hit by an absurd $880 bill from Verizon for using a mere 440 megabytes worth of data while accidentally roaming in Canada. So here's what happened. So the Totally Library offers a hotspot lending program so that residents can receive internet access, and they had a government grant for the first 2 years. And then after that grant ran out, they just decided to keep the program rolling. So some guy, walks in, grabs a device, had it in his travel stuff, right? And was driving through Canada. And while it was doing that, it used up 440 megabytes of data while just roaming. Now, it's unclear what actually was downloaded. And the guy claims that he didn't even have the thing active during that time. So, that's neither here nor there right at the minute. But anyway, so, as noted by Ars Technica, given that Verizon charges a extraordinary... do you know how much they charge per megabyte of data usage in Canada?
A few dollars, I guess. By $2, right? By those numbers, it should be about $2.
$2.05
per megabyte.
Yeah,
That's like you download a picture. Oh, that'll be $10.
But yeah, so that's for the pay-as-you-go plans. So that tiny bit of data added up to $880 for the Tele Library. The library, concerned about the bill, which amounts to about, get this, 55% of its annual budget for the hotspots for the year. Contacted Verizon, was able to actually get international roaming disabled going forward. I guess they had some plans back in the future or in the past that allowed them to disable that, and then there were new plans that didn't allow them to, and now they've got that disabled again. But the company still decided to not budge on the $880 bill.
Yeah, apparently they're sticking with it.
So here's the thing. Verizon technically and legally is in the right here.
I mean, they are, but I mean,
yeah, but this is another one of those major internet providers enforcing a policy that seems needlessly cruel. I mean,
it's a dumb policy. They are technically in the right because
they
it's
technically
the
are,
policy.
but I mean, is it really right to? Is it really right to hinder this library's free, genuinely thoughtful, and helpful program that allows residents to access the internet just to prove a point? Is it?
Yes, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not about the data, because Verizon offers plenty of options for international data use that actually don't come anywhere close to that charge at all. And it's also worth noting that this isn't the first time we've seen Verizon do this. Remember the whole California wildfires and them throttling?
Yeah, and they were like throttling fire departments. Classic Verizon right there. Those fire departments are using too much data. Throttle them down.
Meanwhile, they're trying to, these people are trying to do their job.
They need to pay
here.
more. That fire department didn't pay enough for high-speed data access.
Yeah, I don't get it. So with that being said, with their past actions in terms of that, and now this right here, Verizon actually has decided to waive the $880 fee.
Oh, have they changed their mind about that?
They have. And I think it's a smart move on their decision.
Well, I mean, they've probably gathered a bit of heat for that. Like, bad PR or like $800. Like, I mean, obviously that's pocket change to them.
Right. Exactly. So I think they just looked at it like, oh, let's just.
That being said, I would like to meet whichever like manager or whatever decided, nope, we're sticking it to them. They better pay up, so I can give them a big slap in the face.
I mean, legally, yes. Like,
that doesn't matter. They still deserve to be slapped in the face.
Right. Okay. But here's the thing though. Again, now let me play devil's advocate and let's see if you have a good argument.
Blah
for this.
blah blah. It's legal. Yes, it's legal. You know what else is?
Okay, but
Actually,
here's
might
the
not be
difference.
legal, but no one would frown upon me for slapping them in the face.
Here's the thing though. So there is a little bit of a different use case here, where it's not necessarily like the scenario with the fire department. Well, actually, maybe it is, but I guess from where I'm sitting right now, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's stupid, and I'm glad that they made the decision they decided to make. But yes, from a legal standpoint and a technicality standpoint, technically, the library signed a contract with them that said that, these are the terms of your.
These are the terms.
Here are your terms. Here's this. But I think.
All right. Well, you know what? Where would we be if we followed the rules all the time?
In some cases, we might actually be better off. But anyway, here's the thing about this whole scenario, though, is first, it's actually unclear exactly the browser's device or what the borrower's device downloaded. There should, even if you don't know specifically, there should at least be some kind of idea of what it was. Verizon should be able to see at least where the traffic was coming from. So there's that. So first, they're not even saying, they're just presenting, well, there was this much data used. Okay, perfect. What was that data actually? Was it a document? Was it a picture? Was it something stupid? Was it? So, anyway, I think you'd have a stronger argument right there. I still wouldn't agree with it, but it's just like, okay, now it's like, okay, if somebody comes to me and says, you're going to pay me $880 for something that you used. Perfect. Great. Okay. I didn't do anything, as the guy is claiming, right? Prove to me that I actually used this much data, and prove to me that I actually used that. If they can't, then there should be.
They have to.
Then I should have the argument of saying, well, if you can't. Here's a great example. Zach, you need to pay me $1,000 right now.
Why?
Well, because you do.
Well, I'm not going to.
For my services that I provided to you.
You didn't provide to me any services.
Well, yes, I did.
No.
Yes. See, you wouldn't do it. If somebody came to you and said, I provided service to you and you need to pay me, and you're like, no, you're going to ask them, what services did you provide to me? I don't know how it would be any different from this. So, well, yes and no, but anyway, let's move on. This is talking about Apple right now here, and this is another one of those. So basically, Apple is explaining now why its iPhones now show an ominous warning after unauthorized battery replacements are put into devices. So you go to
I heard about that one too.
You go to a third-party repair shop.
You can literally take a battery from another iPhone bought from an Apple store, and it will still be like, warning. You didn't have that done by an Apple technician.
You wouldn't be buying it from an Apple store, because you're buying it from an Apple store.
I'm talking about an iPhone from an Apple store, and you take out the battery and put it in another iPhone. It will freak out.
Yes, it will.
Unauthorized repair detected.
How long is it before Apple just takes us so far where as soon as you open the device, it just disables it? And,
know.
okay, so again, playing devil's advocate here, I can see where Apple wants to try to protect the consumer by saying, hey, you know, you've had a battery done that was unauthorized, but so you know, you might not know, right? You might take it to a repair shop and be like, well, this wasn't authorized, right? So I can maybe see that, wanting to protect the consumer and things. Now I don't disagree with the decision to, because here's the other thing, it blocks out the information about the health of the battery. Now Apple claims, well, we can't read it from the new battery. Apple claims that's why, which I think is complete BS, because the device should be able to, you know, determine how. Basically, what we do, we throw a voltmeter on it. There should be something similarly internal. I doubt there's anything special happening on the actual Apple battery that's initially in there. But anyway, so yeah, so that's their big argument, is like, well, we don't want unauthorized, you know, we want you to be aware of unauthorized repairs that are happening. Now here, this opens up some great discussion for, and this would be great where we would have somebody who actually is partial to Apple, but the arguments then become, you know, well, is Apple in the right here? Is Apple not in the right here? Are they? But see, here's the thing, right? So I am purchasing a device, right? Flat out. I own that device. Shouldn't I be able to do what I want to do with that device?
Exactly.
And that should mean that if I want to take my device to a third party for whatever reason, in my case, the closest Apple store is like an hour away.
Well, not only that, but they're going to charge you up the wall for the job.
Well, that too, yeah. But so that means that, right? And now what they're saying is that you can take it to an authorized service provider too and have them do it there, right? Now I've heard, and I don't know enough on this, but I've heard back and forth that, well, one, becoming an Apple certified technician is a pain in the rear end, but then also you're bound by Apple's standards. So basically, rather than let's say that there's one little chip on the logic board,
yep,
that has been damaged, rather than being
has
able
to be replaced,
rather than being able to replace just that one little chip, you have to replace the whole logic board.
Well, and not only that, but let's say you check in a device with, like, you know, such and such components failed. We know what the problem is. Great, no big deal. And the screen happens to be cracked. User doesn't want to fix the screen. They think it's too much money and they don't care. Guess what? They're denied service. Have to repair the screen.
The biggest thing is, and again,
and it could be any component.
And
it could be any component, anything.
And I don't get this. I don't get how Apple has built this culture over time, where Apple legitimately, and I've said it before, is literally the company that can do no wrong. Because people still continue to support them. And what I really would love to see is people say, we are sick of not being able to repair our own devices or being able to take it to somebody that we want to take it to have them repair that device. And this is why I have such a strong opposition against Apple nowadays, where if I want to upgrade my device, I can't for whatever stupid reason. Oh, I put a Samsung SODIMM in versus a I don't know what other companies make SODIMMs, but because I put such and such, you know, manufacturers, you know, SODIMM in versus this company's SODIMM in, and all of a sudden it doesn't work, or it's stupid. Or like the ability on the newer Macs now that, well, you can't run Linux on them. They won't let you run Linux for whatever reason. I don't know why that's a thing, but they've just decided to, or at least I think that's what it is, but they've just decided to
Someone's
disable
gonna
it.
find a way around stuff.
Somebody
anyway.
is, but here's the thing. Why?
Yeah, those people should not have to spend their time on that.
Why this culture? And
You know,
Apple,
one thing that I'd like to call attention to, actually, now that we're on this topic, is that so you remember I got a new phone about a month ago. And you know what I was able to do immediately?
Yeah, you were
Unlock
able
the bootloader and root.
right.
Right in the settings. Right in the settings, you can do that. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Why is that not a thing elsewhere? I bought the phone. I'll do what I darn well please with.
And that's a great argument right there. I bought it. I'm going to do what I want with it. If that means that I want to take it to the third-party repair shop, I should be able to take it to the third-party repair shop. Are they Apple certified? No. But I probably know that going in. Or I don't care.
Or maybe I just, maybe they're not Apple certified, but maybe their Google reviews are good. Good enough.
Or maybe they're a third-party repair shop and they actually know more than the so-called Apple geniuses. Actually, here's a great example
absolutely.
of that. Here's a great example of that. So I had a mother and daughter duo come in a couple weeks ago. And what was the issue? I think it was a battery replacement that they came in for. And they were like, it was either a battery or a screen. I don't remember which one. But actually, I believe it was, I don't remember. Anyway, so there was every time that it would ring with the vibration, because they had it ring and vibrate at the same time, it would make this horrible noise. And I opened the phone up, right? Excuse me. And they had taken it to an Apple store. You know what Apple told them?
Probably told them to get a new phone or something silly like that.
They told them they couldn't fix it. Like, yeah, we can't fix that problem. I opened it up, and within about 2 seconds, and as they were telling it to me, I already knew what the problem was, and within about 2 seconds, I fixed the problem. Do you want to know
what was the problem? So
the Taptic engine, over time,
yes,
the screws that hold it in can get loose.
Oh!
Literally, 2
you
seconds.
just screwed them down.
I just tightened them.
That's funny. I like that. Yeah, I mean, at my old job, we were kind of. It wasn't like a thing where you might tell someone, hey, we don't know what the problem. If you don't know what the problem is, the customer's option is to replace the device or have it sent in, and that's ridiculous. No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
So personally, I'd come up with all kinds of excuses for that.
And I will say that there are certain times
it's
where
bad. It's just bad.
There are certain times where we'll run into a device where there's an issue with it, and the first thing we'll do is this is a common one here is we'll get people who call in and say, well, my phone's not charging, or I have to have, and let's see here. I have more repair experience than you do, but let's see.
Well, I've never repaired a phone.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if you can even maybe guess as to what's wrong here. So, somebody calls in. They say, "Hey, I'm having trouble charging my phone. I got to hold the cable in just the right spot. I think I need a new charge port."
Yeah.
Do they
that
need a
seems
new
reasonable
charge
to
port?
me. I would say probably because generally speaking, that happens when there's damage to the charging port.
The first question I ask these people is, "Do you work in construction?" "Yeah." "Why?" "I know what your problem is. 90%.
Tell me about it. I'm curious.
So what? Or farmers? They're either a farmer or they work in construction or in a factory. What is kind of what is something that is presented in those environments?
you think the cable might be damaged, or it just needs to be dusted out?
Exactly. Typically,
Or
what
just
happens
dirt.
is especially in the case of like a farmer um, or a construction worker, there's just dirt that builds up inside of there, and every time you put the cable in, you're just packing it into the bottom. And over time, what ends up and think about it, do people usually put that cable in straight up and down? It usually goes in kind of at an angle, doesn't it? And then it goes in all the way, right?
Sure.
So what happens is as you put the cable in, you're packing it all up to the top, right? And then depending on how you're putting your cable in, it kind of packs it in a certain way. So that's why if they wiggle it, yeah, you get your connection. So in fact, just yesterday, I cleaned out somebody's charge port. And it's amazing because you take about 5 minutes to just kind of take a little pair of tweezers, yeah. And you got to be careful. You got to know where to pry, but take a little pair of tweezers, yeah. Kind of clean it out, and all of a sudden, you plug the cable back in, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's working, and everyone is always amazed. But yeah, but this is again one of those like. Now, let's say that wasn't the issue, though. So we'd try that first, right? If that wasn't it, then we'd open the device up. We'd see, is it a battery issue? No. Is it a charging port issue? Yes. But Apple's just going to be like, let's just replace your device for you. Or here's another really common one. People say that they can't hear out of their earpiece speaker. Same question. What do? Are you in construction? Do you work at a farm? Yeah. Probably dirt in there. We just need to clean it out. You know how many times that fixes the issue?
That's funny. I like that.
It's just competence. But Apple's not going to tell you that. Apple's going to tell you, oh yeah, we got to replace the whole device, or we got to replace this whole component. When that's not what the issue is. And here's what I like, right? So my new G7 here, right? And actually, my MacBook Pro, my mid 2012 MacBook Pro, was actually pretty serviceable. And not all Apple devices have always been non-serviceable. Again, my MacBook Pro, pretty serviceable. The Mac Pro G5, pretty serviceable. The Mac Mini, pretty serviceable. At least my Mac Mini, my mid 2009 or 10 model. But think about the new iPhone. Well, iPhone has always, I think, been kind of... No, I take that back. The iPhone used to use Phillips screws. And then at some point they decided to use Pentalobe screws at the bottom. Not that you can't get those things, but come on.
Because it makes it harder to repair.
Do you have a Pentalobe screwdriver sitting around your house, Zach?
Nope.
Do you have a Phillips screwdriver sitting around your house?
Sure do.
Exactly. Maybe not one small enough for that, but that's kind of the idea. So Apple has moved to this very, and I think all manufacturers do it. Let's look at my Samsung. Let's look at your OnePlus. Can you just pull the back off anymore?
Nope.
So I think companies have employed this. Now there's arguments for that too. What is the argument that Apple, Samsung, and OnePlus are going to make by not having a removable battery?
Like safety or some crap. I don't know.
Probably waterproofness.
Actually, yeah, that's true. Although the OnePlus devices are never IP certified, although they do like to make videos of them dunking the phones in water.
Well, to get the IP certification, actually,
they say that it's expensive.
A lot of money. So that's probably why. But I think that's more typically the reason why you don't see user replaceable batteries on devices anymore.
I mean, I don't go around like, dumping my phone in water, but it is nice to know that it would probably survive.
I don't think most people do, Zach. But yeah. Here's a really great. Let's look at something real quick here. Let's look at Apple versus Samsung in terms of repairability real quick here. So let's just go to iFixit real quick here. Throw me an iPhone model between the iPhone 7 and now, Zach.
8 Plus.
The 8 Plus. Okay. So let's take a look at the 8 Plus. So here we go. And let's say we're going to... One of the most common repairs is the screen. So we're going to take a look at this real quick here. So if we, you know what, we're going to go full screen on this. Okay. So let's take a look at this here. So the very first step to getting into your iPhone is to remove these pentalobe screws here at the bottom. So, actually, let's go for that because now you can see the mouse. There we go. So, to remove the 2 pentalobe screws that are down here at the bottom, then they've got this goofy kind of, so now you got to pull the screen up, right? And of course, Apple uses adhesive to hold the thing down too, so now you've got this goofy little thing where you're going to start using some heat to help you get that undone. Then once you finally, so even getting into the device is a pain in the rear end right here. So using this little suction cup and a pick to get around it, yada yada yada. Now here's the thing about iPhones is you got to know what direction to open them up, things like that. You got to be careful because there's ribbon cables in here. Yada, yada, yada. And I mean, that's going to be true of most devices, but anyway. Now, we start looking at this. And this is where Apple starts to get really dumb. If you're looking at the different colors on here, and actually, let me do this real quick here. So Zach can follow along. There you go. I am on step 13 right now, Zach. So, do you see all the? Are you on the page yet?
I'm there, yeah.
So, see the red dot, the orange dot, the yellow dot.
Mm-hmm.
All those screws are different sizes.
Of course they are.
Mm-hmm. Now these ones are all. These ones are all Phillips right here. Okay. But if we scroll down a little bit here, now let's go to step number 18. Again, these screws are different sizes, but these are also tri-point screws. Because Apple couldn't just say, oh yeah, we're going to use all Phillips heads in here. We're going to use tri-point screws too.
Alright, this is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You already lost me. I can't be bothered following this crap.
Now, let's pick something else. Give me a Samsung Galaxy S option. What do you got for me? What generation do you want to go with?
S9? I don't know.
You want to go for the S9? Okay.
Sure.
So, we'll go phone. Android phone. We'll go, let's see here. You think I'd know what the Samsung, and these are in alphabetical order too. And where is what? Are these in? Oh, no, they're not. They're not in alphabetical order. That's why. Samsung. This is ridiculous. Let's just do this. Here we go. The Samsung Galaxy S9. So, here's the repair guide for that one. Oh, actually, I take that back.
It's good enough. Don't worry.
Let's just go for the battery. Okay? Click on the battery one. So, step 1, take the back off, and take the back off without cracking it. That's really but here's the thing. If you can get the back off, that is like really the most difficult part of this whole thing. Because now if we start scrolling down in here, right? We get to about step 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's only showing you a few screws here, but literally all of these screws are the same size. They use the same, they're all Phillips, they're all the same size.
It should be.
Right. And then everything else just kind of pops apart. It's pretty modular. So I love working on Samsung devices because they're way easier to work on once you get the back off. But anyway, so the whole point behind this is that, yes, even though my Samsung phone or your OnePlus are not necessarily designed to be user serviceable, they are way more user serviceable than what Apple has. And Apple goes out of their way to develop.
Well, they don't go out. That's the thing. They don't. These other brands don't go out of their way to make it hard.
And you even heard Zach as we got down to the second step, where I was like, by the way, these screws are different sizes and they use a different style head. You're like, I can't even be bothered.
Nah, whatever.
And so it really shows that Apple has this mentality of we're not consumer minded in terms of repairability. And they do it also for that, but I think also to make the job of third-party repair shops more difficult too. So, anyway. But, with all that being said, we have gone way longer than we normally do for a show. Let's call it quits here. Let's just agree, Apple, Microsoft, Verizon, they're all...
Everybody sucks. I hate them.
Like that.
Everybody sucks.
Except for OnePlus, apparently, because they allow you to root your device.
I mean, that's nice. I'm sure they got some dirt.
I'm
sure I could find some dirt on them, but I like their phone.
I've heard about security issues with like OnePlus, I guess, or security concerns.
I don't know. To be honest, what kind of concerns? Nah.
Like privacy.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Security by obscurity, right, Zach?
I think that's a bit different. But
No, I'm just saying in general.
I guess.
Like ignorance is bliss, security by obscurity.
The only specific, I guess, security flaw that I really know about is that the optical fingerprint scanner is not really the same level of security that some of the other ones have.
Oh,
although it is very fast.
I heard
and
about
it's definitely
like,
enough to deter your average thief. So I don't really care.
I heard about like collecting data and sending it off to like foreign governments or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think that's Huawei.
No, I thought
Everybody's worried about Huawei.
I thought I heard about that from OnePlus or something like that, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. That was
I'm boring. I'm boring. They don't want anything from me.
Right.
Enjoy my data.
Anyway, so all right. Well, with that said, let's end the show here. Thanks for joining us. Thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Comment down below. Get subscribed if you haven't done that already. And we will see you, I say next week, but we'll see what happens. Probably. Anyway, bye.